Well, well, well. Hello, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Oh man, another Wednesday, another stream with coding fun and chaos. So today's chaos, there's always something new. Today's chaos is that my Stream Deck doesn't seem to be controlling anything and my automations in Stream Deck aren't working. Hopefully there's audio. I think there's audio going out. And I don't know what's going on because the stuff isn't working like it's supposed to. Let's just try something here. Let's see if this... Oh, sound effects, I think, work. But all right. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Hello out there in Streamland. Thanks for being here on another Wednesday for Swami Streams. And we are going to have some fun today, as long as I keep everything working well. Got some new stuff going on. First of all, let's talk about what we're going to do today. Today, we are going to be working on DevOps for databases, a common problem getting... thanks, Raw Squared. Thank you so much for the feedback on that. I appreciate that. Today, we're going to be working on DevOps for databases. If you're like me, database DevOps has always been problematic, right? Database changes, how to keep these things in sync, and how to automate your deployments for databases. I've done it a few different ways. Today, I'm going to be using a database project in Visual Studio and a DAC Pack and putting that into DevOps and the whole thing. And I think I can get it done in an hour. So, as I'm getting started, let's say I hope you like some of the new look. If you've been here before, I just changed some of my scenes and I included this little thing. Let's see if I can point to it correctly. This right here, I included that now. So we have little ads rotating there. So for things that are important, like, hey, there's Tech Bash. I love Tech Bash, of course. October 13th to 16th this year, techbash.com. Check that out. But mentioning some other things I work on and some places to find me and stuff like that. So got that. Got a new camera, which is the Razer Kio, right? Just bought this. This is not a promotional plug, really. I just paid for it myself, but bought that. Has like a ring light on it, and I think the light looks pretty good. Get a little reflection on my glasses, but I'm trying to work on that. And I'm just trying to step up my game. And and make sure that putting out a great presentation for everybody here. Cam does cool stuff. Hello, Cam does cool stuff. When do the CFPs open for Tech Bash? I think Monday, but I'm not 100% positive on that. I believe Monday the CFP will be opened up. You can go to techbash.com. And there should be a link once the CFP goes up. If you're already on our mailing list, and if you're not on our mailing list for Tech Bash, you can go to techbash.com, sign up for the mailing list. Then you'll get notifications. And do I still want me to bring my smoker? Yeah, that's right. We had like a cool idea to do some kind of session on... what's the word I'm looking for? Like maker stuff, right, Cam? Right? What do you call it? Blanking out on the word, but like building something that would connect to a smoker. I think it was like a thermometer you were working on, and it was all .NET. I think, I don't know. It was really cool. We could talk about that. IoT. Why couldn't I think of that word? IoT. Thanks, Cam. Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We have to talk about that. Maybe we can set it up outside on the patio and do like an outdoor session. I don't know. We'll think of some cool stuff. The weather's going to be great this year because it's going to be a little earlier. But anyway, let's get on to today's, what we want to do today. And so thanks for coming on the show today. Thanks for joining me. And today what we're going to do, let me switch over. Let's see. So Stream Deck's not going to work for me, right? So... yeah, that didn't do anything. So let's switch manually. And you should see, I can close some of this stuff. You will see my Visual Studio solution. So just to get you up to speed, if you're new to the show today, working on a little website that is really just the Swami Streams website. for a stream, if you're going to work on code, you got to have a code base. The code base is this website, and the idea behind the website is just some information about the show, and there's going to be a list of all the episodes that we've had with links to the archives on YouTube and things like that. So that is the basic idea behind this website, keeping it kind of simple but kind of realistic. So what we want to do today is I have a database. When I do this locally, I'm running against like a local database. I guess it will come up right here. Yeah, Swami Streams. I have this little database with two little tables in it. And one table in it. There it is. One little table called episodes. And that's all I need to demonstrate this today. And that's great. Now, of course, I don't want this database running locally here. I want to run this in Azure. That's where my application is going to get deployed to. So how are we going to do this? Well, that is a good question. I've got some notes. I'm going to open up my notes over here and keep an eye on them. This is one of those things that I was like, wow, can I do this in a 1-hour stream? I think I can. I think I can do this in a 1-hour stream. I think, excuse me while I'm just glancing around at some things. I think I can do this in a 1-hour stream. There's a bunch of moving parts, but so I have some notes, and I've been working on this a lot actually at work. One of the things I try to do is when I'm working on something at work and I'm putting a lot of time into it, I think, hey, that would be good for the stream, right? Because I'm familiar with it, it's in my head and all that. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is go into my solution. I'm going to add a database project. So to do this, you go to Add New Project. And I guess I must have used it recently because I've got SQL Server Database Project in here. And I'm going to name it, whoops, I don't want to do that. I'm going to name it Swami Streams DB. Why not? Okay, why not? Sounds like a good name. And then that will create a database project. Now, if you're not familiar with a database project, and I'm not an expert on this topic, that's for sure. It's really just a place to organize let's say the files that represent your database, right? All the tables will be in there. You can put stored procedures in there. What's nice is that they are going to then be linked to source control, which is good, right? So here's my database. Now, the first thing I want to do, and this is the most important thing, is, well, not the most important thing. I want to go to Properties here, and see the target platform is set to SQL Server 2016. Now, this is something I've run into, and I don't know if anybody who's watching has used these database projects and done something like what I'm doing, but if you have, maybe you can give me some advice. What I find is I usually do this, and I don't think about the setting in here. I leave the default, and it'll say like SQL Server 2016, and I'll build this database, and I'll deploy it to my local machine, because I like to do, when I'm debugging, have a local instance of the database. And that works great. And then I go to deploy it to Azure. And if I deploy it to Azure with the setting of 2016 there, Azure's going to say, no, we've got a compatibility issue. This database wasn't built for SQL Server, for Microsoft Azure SQL, right? So this is the one we want. We want to do Microsoft Azure SQL database. I would like to know if there's a way to make this be dynamic so that when I deploy it to Azure, it would change that or something like that. I'm not sure if that's possible, but I'm going to try to figure that out one of these days. Probably not today. Probably not today. Okay, so anyway, I've got my database set up for Azure. Okay. And then all I do is add some tables to this thing. So just add a table. So I can go to add new item. I can just do add table down here. And when I do that, I'm going to call it episodes because that's what it's called in the other thing. Contrived. Can you use different target platforms between build configurations? I don't know if you can use target platforms for build. It doesn't seem like, oh, I see what you're saying, because there's a configuration here, but it's grayed out. Now, why is it grayed out? Like if I do this for my web project, let's just say, I take a look at it here. A similar thing, you got project settings. Well, it's a little different. I don't really get configurations here. Is that because I don't have any additional configurations? Would I need to create a configuration first? Well, see on the build tab, you can see different build configurations. So that's a good idea, but it seems like they're not available to me here. That could be a good place to work and see if there's a way to do that. There's also this database settings, and I think someone told me once that there's a way to ignore the target platform, but let's just see if there's anything. I mean, I would have to really figure out if there's something in here that allows me to do that. But I don't want to lose track of time on this. I want to move past that. I appreciate the suggestion, and I really want to come back and figure that out. But in the meantime, let's look at my episode. My episode, no, this is not it, sorry. This is my project. Here's the episode. And if I'm going to actually just script this as a create. The table I already have exists. Well, it's got a couple columns in it. Nothing major, but I can then just take this right here, from here to here. And since I already have the table, there's no sense in me typing it again. And I'm going to put it in here. And this is a little designer, and it synchronizes. It's actually a kind of nice experience. You could type in text down here. You could type in using a designer kind of UI here. But the bottom line is I've created a table called episodes, has an ID, a title, and the details. Not much going on there. I'll add more to that in the future, but the point is, I think it does. It's funny how some of my Stream Deck stuff works, but the scene selection is failing me. Okay, so yeah, I'll make this more complicated later. So I've got this database project and it has a table, and that's kind of it. That's kind of all I need to do. So next thing I want to do, I'm looking at my notes here. Yeah, so the next thing I want to do, so this is going to help me generate what's called a DAC Pack, okay? And I think I can do it manually here. Let's see. I think there's a way to do, if I remember correctly, one of these buttons, it's not this one. I thought there's a way to do, is there a generate DAC Pack? Let's see. You know, one of the hardest things to do is like read when you're streaming. I'll probably miss it right here. File, build dependencies. I thought there's a way to go right here and generate the DAC Pack, but it doesn't really matter. So this is going to generate something called a DAC Pack. DAC PAC. That DAC Pack we can then take and we can run it. And that DAC Pack is like a SQL Server file that understands your database and will deal with changes and stuff like that, and the schema and all that kind of stuff, and push it up into a SQL Server. And so you can do that for local deployments, and you can use it for Azure. So in order to deploy it to Azure, what I need is a database in Azure to deploy it to. Okay, so get my browser going here. Let's see, I've got my Azure mask going. So what I want to do is go to portal.azure.com and log into that. Close this thing. Okay, so what we want to have is a Azure SQL database. I'll need a server and a database to deploy to. So the way to do this, I could go in here and create a SQL server and a database, but that's really not what I want to do today. I want to use ARM templates. Now, ARM templates is another topic here, is basically infrastructure as code. I want to be able to have the infrastructure for my application, for my Swami Streams website. I want to have the infrastructure that I need saved as code in text. What that means is I will store it in my source control. I'll store it with my project, and in there I'll be able to say this application needs a database server. It needs a database. It needs a web server, if you want to call it that, or an app service to host it in. All the things that I need for my application can be in this ARM template. Okay. Now, I don't want to build that ARM template from scratch. What I want to do is, in this case, for the database, I'm going to generate the ARM template from Azure. So I've got in here, you can see this thing called fake database, right? And it's in a fake database resource group. Now, I just did this for the sake of this presentation, for this session today. And if I go into this fake resource group, which has my server and my database, I can go down here and I can click Export Template. And what's really cool about this is it's going to show me this is the ARM template that we've been talking about. What is it? It's a JSON file, okay? And in it, you can see the resources that I'm going to need. In this case, just a SQL server, okay? A SQL server, and the name is parameterized. We'll talk about that in a sec. The name is parameterized. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that it sets up on here. Some of this stuff I don't even need. It puts a little more in here than I would want. I think the default values are really in here. But let's see. So here's the database, right? You can see the name is also parameterized and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do to make this easy is I'm going to take this code. Well, actually not yet. I'm going to go into my solution and I'm going to create a solution folder. This is one of the things about Visual Studio solutions that I don't really like. What I really want to do is just stick this on disk, and it's just going to be kind of weird if I do it. So I'm going to make a folder, add new solution folder, and I'm going to call this Azure Deploy. And in here, I'm going to add a file, but the other problem here is that if I do this on disk, these solution folders don't really show up on here. It gets really weird. So I'm going to go and create what am I doing here? New folder on disk as well, Azure Deploy. I don't, for the life of me, understand why you need to do that. In there, I'm going to create a new text file. There's probably easier ways to do this. And I'm going to call this Azure Deploy.json. Okay. And I'll say, oh, yeah, of course. Okay. So in there now, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an existing item. Again, I feel like there's probably better ways to do this, but this is the way I do it. Azure Deploy. So now I've got my Azure Deploy file. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to the portal. I'm going to take all of that and I'm going to drop it into this file here. Okay, we can see all the stuff that it puts in for me. This is how many lines of code? A lot. This is, well, not code, but 506 lines of, call it configuration. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff because I know there's stuff we don't need. I'll need that. Let's come back to that one. So it's going to create a SQL server for me. That's great. I need it to do that. I don't need to tell it about advisors because these are default settings and they're just going to show up again anyway. And I can keep this ARM template smaller. I don't need auditing policies. I do need databases, of course, so let's get that. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the definition of ARM templates because that's a whole different thing. But there's all these audit settings that are part of SQL that are there by default, backup policies, security policies. I don't need any of this. Holy moly. It puts so much stuff in there. There's other ways to do this. Oh my gosh. There's other ways to do this. Like you could go out to, there's a repo of ARM. Let's show you this. There is, I forget where it is, so I'll just Google it. ARM templates I bet it comes up if I just do that. Templates overview. This is probably not what I want. I think it's a Git repo. Where were they? Huh. I think the last time I did it, I looked for like SQL Server. I did something like that. And Azure Resource Manager templates and docs. Yeah, I was probably in the right spot before. SQL databases, well, whatever it is. And I can go in here and I can find like what I would need if I look at the Azure deployed JSON here. You can see they're putting in a lot of, not as much. They're not putting in as much stuff as I had, so that's good. But okay, back to where I was. Let's get rid of these audit settings again. I'll spend more time deleting stuff. Now, firewall rules are actually important. I want to leave the firewall rules in here. When let's get rid of. I'll come back to talking about that. Oh my God, security alert. There's a lot of stuff in here. Vulnerability. I don't want to go too fast because I think I'll end up deleting something important. Holy moly. Wow. Seems like it just keeps going and going. I mean, my gosh. Where am I? Let's just... Maybe I can make it smaller and see. Oh, I think I'm at the bottom. Yeah, I'm at the bottom. All right. DNI stream. How you doing, man? How's it going? Or actually, I shouldn't say man, because I think DNI stream has 2 different hosts. I could be wrong about that. Maybe there's 2 different people that are DNI stream, right? That's .NET Now included or develop. Nope, not bad. I just rated people over. You did. Hey, thank you for rating people over here. Wow, appreciate that. You're about to do this stuff through though for Azure DevOps repo setup. I'm about to do all this kind of stuff myself, though for Azure DevOps repo setup. Yeah, so I have a repo at work. I have a repo of ARM templates. And hey, Chris, how are you? Chris and Josie are the 2 hosts of that stream, is what I thought. Yeah, thanks for coming over here. Appreciate it. Very kind of you. So anyway, I'm sorry. I'm getting myself. Let's see. I'm getting myself all off track. Let's see where the heck. So I got firewall rules. Oh my God, still. I thought I got rid of this encryption protector. Holy moly, this. So now I have a database. Yeah, okay. I think I'm down to what I need. The firewall rule is important. The firewall rule, if I understand correctly, this default firewall rule of 0 and 0 is what is going to allow you to access this from other Azure resources. DNI stream says, basically, I'll be scripting up a complete Azure DevOps deployment using ARM templates for a new piece of work I'm doing soon. Well, hopefully this will fit right in. And if you know anything that I don't know, obviously you'll share along with me, I hope. So I've got this ARM template for my database. So what I do want to do now, if I look at this thing, I want to take and just simply say that I want this to be the SQL Server name. I want to rename these parameters. I don't know why it comes up with these crazy names of parameters when you export these things or whatever. This is also going to be the fake data. This is the data. So, okay. So this is going to be the SQL Server that's going to create, and I'm going to tell it the name. And I'm setting, and I could take a lot of these things out, like East US and all these things, and I could parameterize these things if I want. This is stuff I've done, and I do regularly. But in the sake of this, I'm going to keep it short, and I'm going to leave these things not as parameters for today. Tags are something that I use in my Azure subscriptions, and I require certain tags. So don't worry about those right now, but you can do that. So the next one is the database, and I'm going to say this is going to be the SQL database name. Okay. Wait, that I did something wrong there. Let's see. This is the server fake data. This is the server name. So the SQL database has to go onto a gets a name of a server and a database. So let's come over here and say slash. This gets weird here. Dollar SQL database name. And this will be SQL Server name. And I hope I get this right. Usually the stuff I do most that I screw up is the variables. Servers, I'm going to put the server. So what this says is that the deployment of this database, which is going to have this name of the server name / the database name, depends upon the server name already existing, which makes sense. I've done apps before too, of course, but not in this instance. It's all infrastructure based. Cool. So, and again, I could extract all the SKUs if I want and make these all variables, but I'm not gonna. I think this is what I want to do. Now, there's one other step. So I have to add an administrator login and an administrator login password. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And this one, I'm going to call it admin user and admin password. I don't know why I've chose to not use camel case on these things. I usually do uppers and lowers. All right, doesn't matter. So now what I have to do is I'm going to add a couple more parameters in here. This is going to be the SQL Server name, right? SQL Server name. And I don't need a default value. We'll just leave that blank. So I'm going to finish my variables. This will hopefully be like the hardest part of this whole thing. Copy and paste is hard, right? How about that? Should be the easy part. All right, I don't know how many I need. Let's just say I need a couple. I'm going to call this the SQL database name. This is going to be the, what do I call it? Admin user, admin password. I think those are the only variables I had in here. SQL Server name. Oh, this is wrong. Oh, no, that's not wrong. This is wrong. This is me using the wrong syntax. Who's paying attention here? Parameters. I was using the dollar notation, which is the syntax that I'll be using. I did the same thing up here. Look at that. Parameters. Oh my gosh. This is the DevOps syntax. So let's just put parameters here. That would not have worked. Trying to do this on the fly here. Let's see. Oh, this is going to break because I changed this thing. Cat parameters. This is going to be SQL Server name. This is going to be SQL Server name. Needs the question mark. Needs the question. Needs the quote. Is that what you're asking? Inside the brackets on admin user and admin password. Probably. What did I do wrong here? Let's see. Aha! Thank you. Ding, ding, ding. Points for. Who said that? DNI stream. Thank you. Thank you. Catching that one. This one here too. Oh God. See, this is why this stuff's, and this is, I don't like this stuff. I don't like JSON. I'll be honest. Like some people talk about how great it is. Where's the help? Like this is not the experience that I want to have. I think you also need to put it in brackets. Oh my gosh. Oh God, I'm doing lousy here. Correct. It goes in brackets. Thank you. See? This is why we work as a team though, which is the good part. Now this one doesn't need brackets because it's already in brackets. This one's already in brackets. Let's see what else I screwed up. You love JSON. Ah, well, I mean, it's cool, but you know, I like code. I like to be able to like get all the help I can get with, you know, IntelliSense and debugging and all this. The tooling has gotten so much better for some of these things. There's no question about it. Where tooling has gotten better and it's so much easier to use than it used to be. But so thank you, Contrived, for the brackets tip, and thank you everybody for helping me along. This the whole point of these streams is like we're doing this together, right? And I appreciate everybody helping out. So let's see. So I have that. So now I'm looking at my notes here. Create ARM template. All right. So what I need to do is. That's what I did, DNI stream. I created the resource in Azure and then I exported it. It's just that it was a mess and they put so much stuff in there. I did make the mods. I took out a whole bunch of sections, but you know, it's you know, pain, right? So All right, so next thing I want to do is I want to go to my build. I'm going to go to builds in DevOps. So by the way, the code I'm working on is getting checked into my Git repo, but the DevOps stuff is in my DevOps subscription, which is not public yet, at least. I don't know. And I'm going to create a new build for this because I had a different one, but you know what? Maybe for the sake of time, I'll take a look and see if I still have this pipeline. I can't remember if I still have this other pipeline, not apps. I want to go here. For some reason, I had it under demos, which didn't really make any sense. Let's see if there's any pipelines in here. See, this is my pipeline that I was running. All right, let's use this one. I'm going to edit this. And so in this pipeline, and I was playing with this, so maybe some of the stuff's in here, which would be kind of helpful. I was playing with this in advance. What I need to do is the build is going to work fine, but what's not going to work is that my ARM templates are not going to get moved into, oh, hey, thanks D&I Stream for sticking around for a while. Appreciate it. And I'll see you soon. So what happens is a couple step process, right? I have a build in Azure that's going to build my solution, and then the output of the build will get pushed basically into the release pipeline. The problem is not everything automatically goes into that. And so what I need to do is I need to do like a copy files task. Copy files. And the source folder is going to be, oh, I hope I get this right. Actually, there's probably a tip right here. Yep, there it is. I think it was agent. I thought it was build, but okay, we'll leave it as it says agent on there. I want it as the sources directory. Okay, and so from there, and I want to take anything that's called, let's do Azure deploy.json. I think that'll be fine. And this is going to go to the, see, it is build artifact staging directory. I never saw it as agent. I'm going to change that. I've always seen it be build sources directory, build sources directory. And this is hopefully going to take and build my solution and copy, let's add this, sorry. Let's put that in there. Okay, and then that'll copy my JSON, Azure deploy JSON, and then it will go into the artifact staging directory, which will then get taken from the artifact staging directory into the drop folder. And the drop folder is where we can access it. So if this works, let's save this and see if we're close here. Clock is ticking on me. I feel that, that's for sure. So I'm going to do a build. Added DB project and ARM template. Okay, let's commit that. Save. Push that up into Git. And it's pushing. My Git repo, by the way, where is that? I guess I can show that. Well, this build is going to take a second, hopefully. Oh, I'm going to the wrong browser window. GitHub. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't put .com in there. That was always a good move. Let's see, and I have my stream website. So here's my repo. If you want to go to it, I'll even paste this into the chat if you want to check it out. Nothing terribly exciting in there right now, but who knows? And if I go to my pipelines, this is running now. So while it's running, let's see, what can we talk about? How about tonight, if you're around, the Dev Talk Show. Let's check out the Dev Talk Show while I'm waiting for this build. The devtalkshow.com. devtalkshow.com is a stream that I am one of the hosts of, along with Chris Gomez and Rich Ross, and we stream Wednesday nights. So I stream this stream, Shwami streams, Wednesdays at noon Eastern time. Or if you're watching right now, you know what time it is in your time zone. I'm here every Wednesday. But Wednesday nights at about 8:30 Eastern time, we have the Dev Talk Show, where the three of us stream on Mixer or Twitch, the Dev Talk Show. And we're also at YouTube, and the easiest way to get to that one is video.youtube.com. But anyway, we stream on a whole bunch of topics. Dev Talk Show, it's sort of like what we have in the tag here. Developers doing what developers do, recorded during a live stream. A lot of it, though, isn't just code work, right? It's us talking about things. It's discussing patterns and discussing frameworks and having our own little, meetup. And we hope you guys will join us and participate and be a part of that. So the Dev Talk Show is on Wednesday evenings. And, of course, the archives are on Mixer. Look at this. Is taking a while. Sometimes these builds take a little while. It gives me a little time to chat with you all. And if you're here for the first time, I would love it if you follow me on Twitch. I know a bunch of people came over on that raid from Twitch. Welcome to all of you guys. So cool of you to come along. So cool of you guys to join me over here. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, just like anybody else's stream, join in and make suggestions or comments. They're all appreciated. And this is taking a while to build. My goal on this stream is to build software. And I'm trying to do it in what I would call like a realistic manner. I try to make simple enough solutions. Like you'll look at the data for this application. The database table has one table, it's a couple of columns, nothing major. But yet, I want to try to do it in a real enough way. So yes, I'm doing the DevOps. Yes, I'm doing the unit testing. Treating it like a professional project that it should be treated as. And look, that build finished. So, thank you, build. Hopefully, if I go into here, you know what? They changed this and let's see, they changed this thing on me and I get really confused. So I'm used to the other UI. I don't know which one of you guys are using the new UI in here or the old UI in here, but this should give me, let me just go back out and go back in, and I thought there's a tab that shows my, oh man, where is it? Is it the build output? So I'm used to, I might actually switch this real quick. So if you go into, where is it? There's a way to go to settings. Oh my. Where is it? Artifacts. Yeah, I know. Thanks, ContrivedX. Artifacts. Am I not seeing it here on this screen? Am I missing something like a crazy person? Download logs. So in the other UI, I might need to go out here and do it like this. Somewhere there's a way to go user settings, is this it? Preview features, and I think it says one published top panel. Yeah, top pane. I probably missed it, but I can come in here. One of the things I notice is that there's a multi-stage. If I turn this off, I'm going to try that real quick. This takes me to the UI that I'm used to, believe it or not. And if I go to my pipeline, I'm going to try this, and I'll come back. Contrived. I will come back and try it there. So see that? I get my artifacts right here when I go into it. Let's take a look in here real quick. What I should see in here is my build. My apps is, so where's my database? My DAC Pack should be in here. Backend, I don't see it. Oh, wow. So, and I don't see build backend. This is just the DLLs and stuff like that. So when I did this last time, I got a folder that had my files, which means maybe my, and I also should see the DAC Pack, because the DAC Pack should have gotten built. Let's take a look. I think the DAC Pack goes to another folder. That's not in here either. Oh man. You'd think this would be easier than it is. I don't even see the database project showing up in here. So what I want to do is I'm going to look at my logs. Let's see. Let's go to build. So I'm just curious to see if DAC Pack shows up in here. It doesn't even show up in here, and it should have created, that should have been under VS Build. Copy files. Let's see if that did anything. Copy files, found 0 files. So the path must be wrong to those files. So that's not good. This is the kind of stuff. So if you guys are doing DevOps, I want to say that I have been successful with these things. I have these things running, right? But getting them started always is tricky. It's not like you can sort of debug it the way we're used to debugging it and things like that. And it's kind of, so let's look for, it's kind of a pain. If I look for DB, I just want to see if the database project, so it says backend, it should say, let's look for, oh, back, no, Swami, no results. So is that what I called it? So the DB project is not getting built at all. That's concerning. I wonder if there is something, hang on, about, oh, I didn't really need to do that. Let's go back to here and edit it. Something about the task. Build solution. Okay, let's make sure that it got checked in. I assume it did. Wait. Where's the database project? I don't see a database project in here. And I don't see... Oh man, what's going... Ah! Look at this. Failed to push to remote repository. Who's watching out for this? Was this up here before? I did not see that. Okay, so of course it didn't work because my change didn't go, and it's probably because I have some changes to pull from, so yep, okay, so it didn't merge, it didn't push my changes up, so of course nothing's going to happen. Luckily I didn't spend too much time on it, but oh gosh, burned again, live in front of an audience of people that I hope will come to learn and trust me. But you know, it just doesn't always work, right? This is the joy. I think this is what's supposed to happen on live streams, right? We're doing this, and we run into the same problems that developers have. These aren't, you know, completely polished scenarios, and so this is what happens. Let's refresh this and see. Okay, now I've got my Azure Deploy folder and I've got my DB folder. And so why did the build go? I thought the build ran. Why did it run if nothing was checked in? That's kind of interesting. Do I have to wait for this thing to run again? Ugh. Yuck. What do you guys want to talk about, huh? Anybody got anything they want to talk about? I mean, what the? This is going to take a couple minutes. So, another chance I could say to follow me and subscribe. I could talk about the Dev Talk Show. Talked about Tech Bash. How about streams? Who else here streams and want to plug your stream? I'm happy to do that. If you're on here and you got something you want to plug, I don't mind. I think of this as a community. We're all helping each other. And if there's a stream that you have or a blog that you have, sure, put it out. And let's see. Hopefully this one doesn't take quite as long. Let me see if there's some steps I can do in the meantime, and I think there are. While this is going, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my build. Okay, this is going to go on. I'm going to hope for the best. I'm going to go into the release pipeline I have here. Okay, and I've got a release pipeline that has one task in here. And this is currently deploying my Azure App Service. Now, my Azure App Service isn't using ARM template yet. So it's assuming that I have an app service named Stream Website. That's what this one is called right here, right? This is the app service name that it's expecting to find in there. And it will find that. I'm pretty sure that still exists. So hopefully that doesn't get messed up. We're going to add to this. We're going to make it better. We're going to convert that to use ARM. But first, let's go into here and let's add some tasks to this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an ARM task into here. And eventually, if all goes well, let's first point it to my Azure sub. And I want to point it to a resource group. And for now, I could make these variables, but I'm going to point it to the resource group. Well, let's just call it the Swami Streams. That's it right there. Swami Streams resource group for systest. Okay, that's what it's going to be called. All right, and then the location. Again, these could all be parameterized variables, but I'm going to keep it easier. The more variables I add, the more trouble I get into. Now, it's not going to let me save this without a template name, and I don't know the template because it's eventually will show up like right in this folder here under, I guess there'll probably be a folder for it called Azure Deploy. So it's not in here yet, so I can't really get to it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a file in here just to make it safe enough so I can save this thing, right? I'm going to save this just for now and say added ARM task. And while that's happening, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to dev.azure.com and I'll go back to my demo pipeline and see if that thing finished yet. I think it did. 12:45, yeah, good, it did. Okay, so I can go to Artifacts, drop. Let's hope this works. Drum roll. Build. Apps. I don't see the folder I was hoping to see. Here's my database. Here's my DAC Pack. So that's the step we need. Where is the oh, there's Azure Deploy. Look at that. So there's my, okay, great. Awesome. So now that we have these things in here, I'm going to go back to this. I'm going to come in here and it should, let's see, this pipeline is associated with the results of that build. So now when I come back into here and I look in here, you'll see this got updated with drop and it was under here, deploy. Remember that? Okay, cool. So that is going to do what I want it to do. Now there's some variables in here. And if I go into here, it will show me the variables I want to do. So I'm going to create a variable called Swami Streams SQL systest. Okay, and the database name is going to be Swami Streams db.systest. And the admin user is going to be test user, because this is really just to play around with. Now I'm going to type in the admin. Oh no, you know what I'm going to do? For this one, I'm going to use a variable. For this one, and here's the syntax of that. I'll call it admin password. I'm going to use a variable. Okay, and I could have done all of them as variables, but I really didn't want to spend too much time doing that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add, I already have one in there. It's from another example, I guess, admin password. Okay, and I'm going to type in a, I'm going to move this to a different screen, and I'm going to type in a password, and I'm going to call it didn't work. Let's see, wait. Okay. Now, my password I marked as private, and I'm going to save that. It's okay. All right. So the other thing I need to do is I need to go back to my tasks, And what I'm going to tell it to do is I'm going to add another task for, I guess it's SQL and SQL Server Database, Azure SQL Database Deployment. Okay, so after it creates this thing, and let's put it before that one because we don't really care about that right now. I'm going to go in here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to say use my MSDN subscription, SQL Server Authentication, the server. Well, now since I didn't use a variable, I'm going to have to type in the same thing. So it was Swami Streams SQL. I think this is the fully qualified name, and it should give me tip. Yep, database.windows.net. I think that's the URL. Yep, database. Okay, and the database is going to be called Swami Streams DB. The login, what did I call it? Test user, I think. And the password is going to be admin password. Now, hopefully I got some of those things right. Let's just check the variables. It was called admin password. I think I got that all correct. Now, usually and the DAC Pack file, got to tell it what DAC Pack you want to deploy. And I'm going to tell it to deploy, where is it, under build, DB, DAC Pack. Okay. Now, let's see if this works. There's 5 minutes left of this stream. If I can get done at 1 o'clock, which is what I try to do. I try to limit this to an hour. So it's like my lunch break, and maybe it's your lunch break, or maybe it's your dinner break, or your afternoon break, or whatever. I appreciate your being here with me. And let's see, I'm going to create a release. And if this thing works, I mean, this will be really cool. It probably will fail. There's probably something little that I got wrong. But we'll try and see. We'll try and see. So how we doing, chat room? You guys out there? Who's out there? Say hi. Let me know if this is making sense to you. And let me know if this seems like something that is not too hard or something that's, generally doable, right? And here, okay. Hello. Contrived X is here. And so I looked, by the way, Contrived X was here last week. And I was like, I wasn't sure when I said your handle right. I think the first time I said Contrivex or Contradex. I said it wrong, something like that. And I realized it's like, oh, Contrived X. And I looked at your blog, Contrived Example. That's a cool, so you've had that for a while, I think. And so I guess you go by Contrived X, for example. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I was getting your name right. And I was curious about the origin of it. So, oh, look, build failed already. Oh, look at that. Yeah, look at this. Who screwed up these names? Unable to parse language expression. Sure, we knew. Contrived Example is too long for Twitter. Yeah, isn't it? All right. I knew something was getting screwed up in here. Let's go back and take a quick look at the ARM template. This is what causes me more trouble than anything. I'm telling you, this kind of junk in here. So let's just see if it gives me some help. And it doesn't like concat parameter SQL Server name. So let's go back and see if I can find the one that says SQL Server name concat. This one. Parameters. I need another parentheses there. Look at that. I need another parentheses. Yeah, there was a red dot. Thanks, Contrived X. I was hoping nobody noticed that. Yeah, no, you're right. See that? There was a... No, I knew you guys were going to see it, of course. Kidding around. Don't take me too personally. Don't take me too seriously. Yep. It did... I complained earlier that it doesn't give me the help, and it does give you help in some places. So let's see. If I put that back, over here there's red, and now there's not. So hopefully... it's good. And so now I got to do this. Fixed my dumb typing mistake. And I'll commit that. I probably should put a more real comment in there, but let's have a little fun with it. So I pushed that. Let's see if it fails this time because I did change the build template. So, oh, it did go that time. Okay. So where are we now? So now we're back over here and we'll check our build, which should be running, fixing my dumb typing mistake. And I hope I get this right because I don't have like one of these things in the oven. We're just about in an hour. We're just about to make this thing work. I need a like a rally call. Like I need something to get me going. You know, like I need a sound effect for like, you know, charge or something like that. I've got a drum roll sound effect, but it's too soon for that because nothing happened yet. You know, there's my drum roll. Oh man, for the Horde. Kessler 6 says for the Horde. I got to admit, I am not familiar with that reference, but I'm glad you jumped in. Sounds like a good one. For the Horde. I feel like I should Google that. Is that a thing? Is that from a movie? Or are you just making something up and I'm just an idiot? I don't know. We'll find out. For the Horde. Quest. Oh, World of Warcraft. All right, there it is. All right, yeah, that does sound like something that would be appropriate. Thank you. Thank you, Kessler 6 or Kessler 6, I think. Maybe that I am not a gamer. Oh, I know. A lot of people are on Twitch, and I said I'm not a gamer. I know, the shame of it all. But hey, I'll come clean. I'll admit it. But I like this for the Horde. I feel like I should play this. What does this look like? Do I have audio on my desktop audio coming through? Am I allowed to show this? I don't even know if I'm going to get like a streaming thing. You know what? Maybe I'm not allowed to show clips on here. Am I going to get like arrested for showing some clip? I better not. Who knows? It's on YouTube. It's probably safe. But I don't know. That looked exciting though. I feel like we're all charging along here. Come on. Oh, how long is this thing going to take? How long is this thing going to take? So, you know, while I'm showing this, the problem we had, well, let's look at the last. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. Can I? I wanted to show some other interesting stuff. So the last one, it might be too late. This release failed at, it's Twitch. People stream game cutscenes all the time here. Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. I won't hesitate next time. Thanks, Kessler 6. Oh, so yeah, I don't know if I can show the other thing I was going to show, which is kind of cool. Well, let's see. Still, you know, sometimes these builds, I mean, this is free, the build, right? I'm not paying for it in Azure. So I can't complain too much. But sometimes these things really seem to crawl along, and sometimes they go fast. Now, it's just about done. It's publishing artifacts, so that's a good sign. Okay, VS Test has a warning. I'm not going to worry about that right now. This finished. The release last time failed quickly, at least. Did it fail already? 12:54? No, that's the last one. Let's go back to, where is the new one? Is it not automatic? I thought it was automatic. Releases. Shouldn't there be a new one here at a more recent time? Da-da-da-da-da-da. Don't know. Did I run the last one manually? Maybe I ran it manually. So let's just run it. Let's see what happens. And it's going. It's off to the races. That's what I need. Da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, something like that. This one's going to work. I'm feeling really good about this. If it doesn't work, I can tell you that it's, you know, it's these little iterative problems I tend to have with these things, like variables not being named correctly and things like that that are really hard to test for. It would be really cool if there was like a test harness for build and release pipelines and things like that. Oh, okay, come on. Come on, baby. Let's see if there's anything going on here. I don't know if I'll get any output on these things. What I can do is, if this is working, is if I go to my, oh, wrong one. If I go to my resource group. I'm going to take on this real quick because this is kind of cool. It was called Swami Streams Resource Group Systest. Yeah, I think this is what I called it. So if you go here and you look under deployments, you can actually see what's going on in here, right? And so the deploy is happening right now. And usually I split my deploys up into multiple tasks and things like that. Like I'll have a database and I'll have a website. And you can actually see each of the tasks and how they're doing. And you can monitor the progress that they're making in there. This database deploy sometimes, this is the one that scares me because this is the one that can take a couple of minutes sometimes to create a SQL server. And again, you know, we're getting it for free. I'm hosting it for free on my free subscription or my free credits on my subscription. And so it feels to me like I shouldn't be complaining about that. I shouldn't be complaining about free, but I am. Is that okay? Are you guys all right with that? I don't know. So this is happening. YouTube.com, you know, if you don't have a time to stick around, you can come back. I hope to stick around. Maybe you can come back to my youtube.com/Swami Streams and check out the archives of this. And you know what, if I switch to another scene here, I can show, like, you know, oh my gosh, we're hanging in there. I am watching the build right here to see what's going on, but I wanted to come back to this screen. It's this screen. I'm happy. I'm looking at this other monitor here, and I'm seeing my new camera, the results of my new camera with the light on it. I got this Kio, right? It's got a light built in. I could turn the light off right here. Let's see what that. Look at that. The effect. So that's not a terrible picture, right? But look at the light. When I turn on that light, I don't know. I think it's a decent amount of light coming off from a small camera. I think I can turn it brighter. There we go. It's a decent amount of light for a small camera. I'm kind of happy with it. As I am waiting for my... Oh, look at this. Wait, the SQL task finished. Okay, wait. Stick around. Let me switch screens again. My Stream Deck isn't working. I don't know why. Okay, here it is. Look, it worked. Let's go back to the pipeline. The pipeline, I want to go to the release pipeline. It was probably over here. Still says it's going. Oh, you know why? Because it's probably deploying my website. That's okay. Oh, who cares? Let's go back and look at my... Oh, this is awesome. Not too much trouble, and I'm a couple minutes over versus what I promised. So I want to look at this database and see if it's in here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the database in the portal here. Okay, and you can't do anything if you don't set the server firewall. If you've used Azure SQL before, you know about this. I need to say that my client IP is allowed to access the portal, access the database. What does the encoding on your stream? Computer? Yeah, Kessler6. I am just using one computer. I've got my Surface Book 2 here, and I'm running OBS on here and everything right on here. And it's been working pretty well so far. I hope it looks good. All right, wait. I hope it looks good to everybody. And all right, so now I got that in there. So now I'm going to go back in here and I go to this query editor. And if it worked, I have this setup account and I have my password. Now I'm going to put the password in. I don't know if it shows dots or what does it show. So I'm going to put my password in here on a different screen. Uh-oh, that didn't work. Wait. I probably used the wrong username. Sorry, hang on. I'm just keeping it on this other screen for a minute. Show me streams. Where's my... Got to get my variables. Just make sure. Whatever. What did I call this thing? Job. Come on. The username was called... Oh, come on. Oh, yeah. Okay, I had the wrong username. Okay, let's try this again. No! Let's try it again. All right, so what's happening now is that it says login failed for test user. So it's kind of hard to tell if it created my stuff. I mean, I think it did, but if I go to overview, properties, test user should be the user. Now I've had problems with these variables getting set wrong in here. Let's see if I did another thing. Oh, why isn't this thing showing up? Come on, Azure Portal. Where's my properties? Maybe it won't show property. Oh, there's property. Oh, look, it won't show my... It won't show because I've got Azure Mask on. I'm going to copy it to the clipboard. I'm going to open up Notepad in a different window, even though it doesn't really matter. Oh, okay, it put the wrong... It did put... So this is interesting. Very interesting. So I screwed something up, I think. If we look at the pipeline for the create, let's see, wait, this is the create resource. And in here, I said admin user is test user. But something's not right because that is not the user of the database. So this is the deploy of the server. So if I look over here under the server, the admin password should be whatever got passed into that. And so I don't understand why the server admin password is a different value. But wait, maybe I'm looking, hang on. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong resource group all over. I have lots of stuff in Azure. So the resource group is Swami Streams resource group. Okay, let's just make sure I'm not doing anything stupid because resource groups. Oh, that's not Swami Streams. Let's do that. Here's my resource group, and it should have created a SQL server in here. And in here should be a SQL server. And I do that again. I'm going to do this again. Ah, okay, it is correct. Somehow either I didn't cut and paste it or something, but okay. So it is correct. It is that test user. And so question is, what is the password? And so the password, interestingly, should be, now I've had times where like it would actually say like the password, it set it to like admin password. And the reason it would do that is because I had something wrong in one of these things. But this is correct. Admin password is admin password. That comes from the variables. That's going to take it and it's going to pass it to my ARM template that has admin password. And it's going to make the administrator login password parameters admin password. Okay, I'm going to try it one more time. Maybe I typed it wrong twice. So glad you mentioned Azure Mask. Never heard of it, but definitely can use it. Yeah, Contrived X. It is a plugin for browsers now. It's a Google Chrome plugin that you can get for Edge if you want. And you can tell it's running right here. It runs, it's sort of not in the store. You might even have to side load it. It's a little weird. But anyway, let me try one more time to go back to, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. This is the, where's the database? This is the Swami Streams database. I'm going to try again, use the query editor, test user, and I'm going to put in my silly oh, wait. Oh, maybe I didn't set the, oh man, what did I do last time? I don't know. You saw me set the firewall. Was I in the wrong database? Look, it didn't get added. All right, I'm starting to feel like I was on the wrong database. I probably had another Swami database. What a mess. Okay. I think, let's try this again. And, oh my gosh. Wait. Look at this. Come on, people. So here's the table, the lame little table that I created. Time-wise, I think this is pretty good to get something like this running. And there was much rejoicing. Much rejoicing, yes. That I'm a fan of. I know that line. So in an hour, getting the database project, again, simple database, right? One table, a couple columns, but a database project, compiled into a DAC Pack, a ARM template. So what we're doing now with our database, and if you think about this, we are back to here. I can delete the entire resource group. I can delete all this stuff, and together, I can with what I did, I can deploy all this stuff. Now, what's great about this, once you get through the tweaking and all these stupid variables and stuff like that, I somewhere messed that up. But what's cool about this is now in source code, I have my deployment. Do I want to change this? Do I want to change this and make this from a basic to something else or whatever? One of the cool parts about this, and we experienced this here today, is what if I want to change this and by mistake, I do this, right? Obviously there's red squiggles, but I'm not paying attention, just like I wasn't paying attention before. And I do a check-in with this. Well, what's going to happen in the real world? Pull request. In the real world, you over there, my coworker, is going to get that pull request, and you're going to be like, hey, I see a mistake in there. Even, forget about the red squigglies. You're going to look at this and go, this doesn't look right. You're going to catch my mistake. Infrastructure as code puts the infrastructure, into a reviewable state and things like that. And it's really cool. I've also got my database in here, and that sort of synchronizes it, and it's stored with the code and all that kind of stuff. And it's really just SQL files. This is just designer stuff. And I've got all this kind of stuff going. I'm actually really psyched that this worked out in a relatively short period of time. If I'm being fully honest, thought this was going to go way worse. Now, the name of my stream or my tagline is Shwami Streams, Coding Fun and a Bit of Chaos. Of course we had a bit of chaos. My Stream Deck didn't work great. What happened? I thought I checked in some code and it wasn't going because there was a pull that I needed to take down. These are real world scenarios, and this is what happens in a real world. I'm really starting to enjoy this pattern when I watch other streamers, like some of you that might be watching now, and seeing that things just don't go perfectly all the time, and that is part of our job. And it can be kind of deflating. We get that imposter syndrome when we watch demos and everything is perfect all the time. So I don't know. I think I'm going to probably cut this episode up into a short version of it and make a little video about it and take out some of the noise maybe. But there's one other thing I wanted to check, which is that if I switch back, let me just look at something real quick. So Contrived X. I am going to turn, where was it? I'm going to go back to my settings. And I'm going to go to, where is it? Here. User settings. And I'm going to change that preview feature. Remember this multi-stage pipelines. I'm going to switch that UI. And that changes this UI over here. And if I go back to my build pipeline, I want to figure out where those build artifacts were. Now I'm probably missing something right in front of me. I don't see. Oh, I got to go into it. Okay, this is the one. Artifacts. I thought there was a tab down here where it shows the artifacts on my, but I'm not seeing it. I do want to. Where is that? Download logs. Tags, edit pipeline, retain, release. Somewhere on this screen, I should be able to get, that's the log. I should be able to get to down. Oh, here it is. Oh, here it is. Look at this. You're pointing at it. See me? I don't know. Maybe the magic of you pointing at it is what did it. Because I think the timing was right. Here it is. So now I can see it. I think I like the other UI better, if I'm being honest. But, who knows? I wanted to do that. I wanted to see that. I could have sworn that it was down here on another one, but here it is. Artifacts. Thanks for pointing. Thanks for pointing. Next time, scream louder. Scream louder. Hey, it's 20 after 1. Let's wrap it up. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I think we worked together. We learned some stuff. We had some fun. And I hope that this was helpful to you guys. Please follow me on Mixer, Twitch. Subscribe on YouTube if you're there. And please come back again next Wednesday at noon. And we'll have some fun. And I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much. Oh, and guess what? My automation's not going to work, so my music's probably not going to start as I end the show. But we'll see what happens if it does.